Hi everybody, this is Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yeehaw, and we are doing a review roundup. Real sound effects will be added one day. For Mass Effect Legendary Edition. You know, I actually was planning on making a video predicting the Mass Effect reviews today because I thought more were going to come out tomorrow. But it looks like publications not here in the United States, and maybe one that is, posted their reviews already. So we can talk about the score that Mass Effect has right now, which is a 91. If this score sticks, Mass Effect will be the #1 rated game of the year so far. I actually, to be honest, I was going to bet that it was going to score somewhere around like a 93 or a 94 just because I thought it was going to get a lot of 10s from people. But I think what's being said in the reviews are interesting. So we'll go through some of those reviews, some of the highlights from it. And that's what we're doing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you find any of this valuable, a like, a comment, a subscribe, it would all help me out a lot. So thank you so much, and let's take a look at some of these reviews. Mass Effect Legendary Edition right now, 100% of critics are recommending it, which even if it was a bad remaster, I think you're going to get a high recommendation number. It's the Mass Effect trilogy, and if you've never played it, it's hard to say that it's bad. It's a great trilogy of games. So even if they didn't do it justice, it would be hard not to at least say these are great video games. A 91 from top critics. Let's take a look at some of these reviews. So we've got, we'll do it like this. We'll start with the unscored reviews from, is it F Extra Life or is it Fextra Life? I'm not sure. If you're a big fan of the series, I was getting goosebumps watching the opening cutscene. I mean, yeah, it was that good. Literal goosebumps. If you're a fan of the series, you're going to love this game. And if you're new to the franchise, it is probably good enough Mass Effect 1 to get you through Mass Effect 2 and 3 with very little complaints. So obviously, what's happening here, and this is something I'm seeing in a lot of the reviews, is we're talking a lot about Mass Effect 1. That's what a lot of people are hopping into the Legendary Edition and playing first, logically. And it's the oldest game. They did a lot of work to it, but it's still a very old game at this point. Another unscored from Gaming Trend. The fact of the matter is there are over 100 hours of game ahead of me across 3 games and more than 40 pieces of high-quality DLC like Lair of the Shadow Broker, Leviathan, and Overlord now folded directly into the story. So the saying goes, you can't step into the same river twice, but Mass Effect Legendary Edition is certainly going to make one hell of an attempt at it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some keepers to go scan. Very good. I mean, that feels like it's going to be a high score. On the whole, BioWare has done a fantastic job of bringing the original Mass Effect up to meet the standards of 2021. While it's still a bit rough in some areas and there's quirks to how they've retrofitted some elements into the older game, it feels like a definitive version of the game you remember. My journey will continue onto the second and third game before pinning a score on the Legendary Edition remaster as a whole. This, from what I'm gathering, feels like a mid-8s as far as score is concerned, and I guess I should just pop in and say, I don't care about the score of a video game. I just find this topic to be interesting. How reviewers score games. Where does it fall on that 7 to 10 scale? And I like trying to figure that out. I recognize that a score a game get has no bearing over whether or not you enjoy it. And I don't care if a game I love is not the highest rated game or something like that. Now into some of the lower scores from Spazio Games 7.5. While retaining some flaws of the original games, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and specifically ME1's remaster and modern take on the action, is worth exploring once again for the fans and for those who've always wondered what was so special about the franchise and never gave it a try. So this one's pretty interesting because honestly, 7.5 is a pretty low score. Now, I don't know how Spazio Games often reviews games, so maybe they actually use more of the scale than most people, but I feel like a 7.5, that's actually a score I really didn't expect to see for this game. This is more in line with what I expected the lowest score to be, maybe an 8, but here we have an 8.5 from Stephen Wright at Stevior. Should you play Mass Effect Legendary Edition? Of course you should. This is BioWare firing for the most part on all cylinders and hopefully is the dawn of a new resurgence for the franchise. Fingers crossed for EA Play 2021. Get in, get immersed, explore the galaxy, and defend it from a once-in-a-50,000-year occurrence. Then head on over to Andromeda to appreciate that before the next adventures in the Sol system take place. Interesting to get an 8.5 from someone who likes Andromeda, which was heavily panned. I need to go back to Andromeda one day. I really do. Not every wrinkle can be hidden under a skillful makeup. Oh, this is from The Games Machine, 8.7. Not every wrinkle can be hidden by a skillful makeup, but the in-game feeling is very good, and impersonating Commander Shepard gives the same vibrant feelings of the past. Saving the galaxy from the Reapers has never looked so cool. And now we're up into the scores, close to where I thought it was. 8.7, 8.9, 9 here from Hobby Consolas. And I think these are all from Italian and Spanish publications mainly. I'm not sure. The update of the game has its pros and cons, but the main improvements are well received. Narrative setting and dialogues are still awesome, so having all condensed into a single package feels like a real treasure. This is the most definitive version of the trilogy so far. This is a 9.0 from Serious Gaming. For series veterans, we have a unified look for your customized Commander Shepard that you will experience adventures with till the bitter end. This not only applies to male Shepard, female Shepard from the third game is the default model from the beginning. If that doesn't put a smile on your face, I don't know what will. For first-time players, you'll get the best version of the games, complete with all the DLCs, and a photo mode to boot. What more can you ask for? Well, obviously something more, right? Because you gave it a 9 instead of a 10. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, this is a 9.2 from Somos Xbox, captures all the magic of the original trilogy and elevates it with improvements to all levels, resolution, frames per second, load times, graphics, playable, and visual enhancements. And another 9.2 from Generation Xbox, Mass Effect's Legendary Edition is a magnificent compilation, a title that will undoubtedly delight fans of Shepard's epic. Those who grew up and discovered a genre thanks to BioWare's work will be back in their favorite titles like never before. Face washing feels great for each one of the 3 games. Plus, increasing and stability of FPS on Xbox Series X gives the title an all-new feel. Obviously, that's, we're translating this from another language. And now we have 9.5s and perfect scores. From Press Start, Mass Effect Legendary Edition stands tall as one of the best remasters that I've ever played. The amount of care and effort that has gone into restoring the original Mass Effect along with the other 2 games is unmatched. While there are some underlying minor design issues with the original game, Legendary Edition is the best way to experience the Mass Effect trilogy, period. Now, a perfect score from Game Grin, 10 out of 10. Mass Effect Legendary Edition is a phenomenal remaster of the original trilogy with enough changes to not only feel fresh, but with enough quality of life improvements to truly call this the definitive way to play the Mass Effect trilogy. And finally, from Kyle Hansen at Attack of the Fanboy, a perfect score. Mass Effect Legendary Edition is a fan's dream come true. With all 3 games and almost all of their DLC included in one upgraded package, there simply isn't more to be asked for here other than a full remake. So there we go. The early scores from Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I'm curious to see what else comes in, but I think this game is going to sit above a 9. I think it's going to be mid-9. So I'm guessing again, I thought 9.3, 9.4. And that will make it the highest rated by critics game of the year, which is pretty interesting and a really good sign for everyone out there who has it pre-ordered. So I hope you found this video interesting. As we can see, it's really whether or not you're able to forgive the fact that the original games are now older that will decide whether or not you're going to love this game. If you're okay with the fact that Mass Effect 1 is an old game that they are remastering, then it looks like the Mass Effect Legendary Edition is for you. Some people give it a perfect score. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will see you all next time.